There's a small town nestled somewhere at the foot of the Blue Ridge Mountains called Abershaw, a place so eternally cloaked in foggy ambience, it seems frozen in time. Abershaw is known for the eccentricities, one such quirkier than the others, the Packer House. An architectural essence of the Victorian era, it's said to be inhabited by the Lady. Local folklore often spoke of the Lady, an enigmatic figure dressed entirely in white from the Victorian era. They claimed she fiercely protected the Packer House, her former residence. Elders warned folks of venturing anywhere near after sundown. But as a curious 15-year-old, I dismissed it as preposterous tales to ward off mischievous children. One dreary evening, Greg, my best buddy, and I decided to solve the mystery of the Packer House. Guided by the thrill of adventure and driven by teenage foolishness, we sneaked in. The house, in its dust-laden glory, seemed empty except for the faint sounds coming from upstairs. Crawling through the shadows, we made our way upstairs, each creak of the floorboards making our heartbeat spike. There, in a dimly lit room, sat the Lady, her back towards us, humming an archaic lullaby. We exchanged terrified glances, and before we could make a run for it, she turned around. Her face was indescribable, an eerie sight that made chills run down our spines, and this gut-wrenching feeling of dread consume us. She held up an old, faded photograph, a lady identical to her, arm in arm with a man, both dressed in Victorian attires. She spoke in a voice archaic yet oddly familiar. "Do you know who that man is?" Unable to speak, we only shook our heads. "That was my beloved George. He went to war and promised to be back before our first anniversary. He never returned, but I've been waiting for the past 200 years." Her story reflected every line on her non-aging face and in the haunting sadness of her ghostly eyes. In that moment of resonating sorrow, the horror melted away into pity for a woman forever stuck in a waiting game. Bidding her goodbye, we left quietly, carrying the chilling tale that changed our perception forever. It wasn't about tomfoolery. It wasn't about proving ourselves. It's about the spirit of a woman, an eternal tale of love and waiting. I wish this story had a fantastical ending, a grand revelation, but it didn't. We continued seeing her at the Packer House, forever waiting for her love. Abershaw's unsettling mystery remained just that, a mystery. We tried telling the tale, but skepticism and disbelief prevented it from becoming anything more than a scary bedtime story. After all, who believes in a ghost story, except the ones who experienced it?